Which popular person is secretly an asshole, but not widely known to be so? Gayle King, journalist, host, Oprah's best friend. She was our local news anchor during my formative years growing up. She treated retail and service workers like crap. Stories of Gayle being bitchy in public were the norm. Back in the day, Rachel Ray was the darling of Food Network. Yet as it turns out, she was and probably still is a mega asshole. Zooey Deschanel talks down to everyone on set and barely acknowledges anyone she feels is beneath her. Who big surprise is everyone. Michael Bublé, anger issues. Julia Mom was an extra in one of her. She is a massive uppity snooty BTCH. Jennifer Lopez. Heard she treats her staff like SHT from multiple people. She also makes us music. Brian Boitano, South Park notwithstanding. I worked for him and accidentally broke his fountain while putting a top over it to protect it. Turned out the different layers were held together by gravity, with no mortar. He made me pay the full price to repair it. At the time I was a father of 2 with a wife dying of cancer. I enclosed a note with a check that I would tell the story of when Brian Boitano made me pay for his fountain every chance I got, and that includes right now. Apparently Gary Radar Berghoff is kind of a piece of shit. Drake. He's so arrogant that he breaks checks and makes other people's cars wait before he can get his expensive car out without a scratch. Tommy Lee told me to fuck off once. I was a 17-year-old kid super happy to meet him. He was prob struggling that one night outside lax LOL. Jackie Treehorn treats objects like women. I guess people know now that she's been sued, but Lizzo has always been a big jerk. Everyone loves Leonardo DiCaprio, but I've heard some horror stories from waiters and staff at his private events. Taika Waititi apparently cheated on his wife multiple times while they were still married, and left her to raise their kids alone while he made it big in Hollywood. It's all come out recently in NZ. From my friends who work in the industry, Jake Gyllenhaal is an asshole who got a woman fired from a set for turning him down for a date. Amy Poehler and Will Arnett are supposed to be awful. A lot of people don't know what secretly means. I met Jared Leto back in 2003 when his band opened for Incubus, and out of all the celebrities I've met, he was the biggest asshole. At least I can say I told an Oscar winner just because you're famous doesn't mean you need to act like a dickhead. He shut down the autograph signing after that, and I had a couple hundred pissed off people behind me. Boss Skaggs was the hugest fucking asshole when he came to my place of work. He talked down to us, cursed at us, then came back to complain about the food. Met Seal at the same job and he was easily the nicest, warmest celebrity, possibly even normal person, I have ever met. I met a lot at this job. Kirstie Alley is from my hometown and was notorious for her terrible tipping at restaurants and abusive treatment of retail workers. But she dead now. Swear to God anyone says Sir David Attenborough, I am burning this place down. Here's the thing, every person has bad days where they meet someone and are kind of a dick to them. Even, or especially, celebrities. So, every celebrity is going to have someone who tells a story about meeting them and they were a dick. It's when those stories outnumber the good ones, or when they start happening all the time that they are probably just bad people at their core. Edited to fix Eve into even. Jerry Seinfeld seems like a real smug wanker, and several people that had guest spots on the show back up that claim. Liam Hemsworth has anger and substance abuse issues. He's been filmed getting into bar fights and the videos mysteriously disappear. He also cheats. His PR team is world class. BoJack Horseman. Paul Walker. Nigel Huston. A few years ago, I was ding at a bar in Hollywood when his posse came in. He was a demanding, rude piece of shit to me because I didn't want to play his Drake song a million times. He was also extra rude to all the staff, bartenders and waitresses. Even tried to get me kicked out of the bar. Fuck you, Nigel Huston. Stephen A. Smith is apparently the biggest asshole at ESPN, as confirmed by multiple ESPN alumnists and guests. Bill Maher, while probably not surprising, is one of the worst human beings on earth. If you see him in public and so much as say hi, he'll roast you right there and tell you to fuck off. Former MLB player Nigel T. Plush Morgan was the biggest athlete asshole I've ever met personally. I was like 12 when I asked for his autograph and he glared at me and told me to fuck off. John Elway. Complete and utter Nimitz class douche canoe. Kevin Hart. Nothing but bad experiences all around in my industry from everyone that's interacted with him. I dealt with him during the pandemic and he kept calling me and anyone that he could a racist for any reason whatsoever. He also won for $30,000 and didn't tip the dealers a single dollar. I used to like his comedy, but after interacting with the man in person, fuck Kevin Hart. Neil Patrick Harris. Mike Myers of SNL and Austin Powers fame is said to be an egotistical jackass, but who knows? I met Don Henley of the Eagles, and he's exactly as depicted in the Eagles documentary. He needs a cart to haul around his gigantic fucking ego because he's definitely better than anyone he's ever met. Complete asshole. My mom works in movies and TV and will never not take the chance to shit-talk Tom Cruise. Huge set waiting for him and he's late. Agent calls the director, who tells my mom that they need a private fenced-in airfield in under 4 hours. Apparently Tom disregarded he already arranged PJ to instead fly his P-51 Mustang down to Florida. He didn't even tell anyone till he was already in the air. Demanded a private airfield with no other traffic. Luckily, my mom pulled it off, but she said she's never been laughed at as much on calls as she was when she was trying to find a place for Tom to land. Emma Roberts. When the Super Bowl was in the Twin Cities, I ran into her at a record store. She was with another girl. Someone went up to her to say they were a fan, and both her and her friend laughed at this person. She was also abusive to Evan Peters when they were together. Gah, I can't stand her. Jennifer Lopez. I don't know if it's widely known or not, but she's an absolute nightmare. Like cartoonishly evil. Cyndi Lauper. Most miserable celebrity I had the unfortunate displeasure of meeting. Kobe Bryant. He threw objects at fans. This may be a little controversial, but the proud and illustrious Great Cornholio is in fact a giant bunghole. Heard on multiple accounts that Neil Patrick Harris fucking sucks. Justin Timberlake. While these ones are kind of known, I still think people just don't see or don't care about how Chris Brown treats the people around him. Same goes for Jada Smith up to a point. Neil Patrick Harris. Nicole Kidman. My brother worked on the set of Australia, and according to him she was arrogant, short-tempered, and snooty. Her son Connor was also a frequent visitor to the set, and apparently he was even worse, a rude, insufferable little shit who was both racist and homophobic to boot. I always knew Ellen was a cunt just by how she acted, wasn't surprised at all when the new came out, lol. I've heard from multiple people who have met him in different contexts that Bill Nye is an asshole. Cameron Diaz is known to be incredibly rude to nail techs and wait staff. Tom Cruise. You don't become the chosen one at the top of Scientology without being a piece of shit. That all that cult is based around, fucking with every person that doesn't agree with it. Neil deGrasse Tyson. On the flip side of this, Robbie Williams was surprisingly lovely. I wasn't paying attention walking into a shop he was coming out of, and I full-on slapstick head-butted him and fell over. He was still standing and pulled me up to my feet, and made sure I hadn't hit my head on the ground whilst falling, and just was generally a lovely guy. I'm going to be cooked alive for this, but people have said that Bill Nye the Science Guy is actually a dick off camera.